Welcome to another edition of the Coach Daboll Show presented by Ford. I'm Bob Papa. The Giants will be in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. We've got a huge show lined up for you as we get you set for the rematch between the Giants and Eagles. Sean O'Hara goes one-on-one. Bruce Beck in the locker room. Of course, Carl Banks goes to the coach's tape with strategy. And at this point, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, Carl Banks, and the head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. And Coach, you got to piece together a football team after what happened on Sunday. How do you go about dealing with that during the course of the week to be able to flush it by Sunday?
Well, you flush it on Monday. It's never easy coming in after losses. That one was a particularly tough one. Again, you try to stay consistent with your messaging, the accountability factors. You show the plays that need to be fixed, and kind of the result that we got and why we got it. Look, I told everybody it's not one person, it's not one position, it's not one group, it's not one coach, it's all of us, and that's my responsibility. So, brutally honest, go through things that you wish you would have done differently, correct some things, go through the tape, and then when you come in on Wednesday, you are ready to go. We're playing a team that we just played. You feel like you're watching the same tape over and over again that you watched a couple weeks ago on a short week. They went out there and played really well against Minnesota. I mean, Hurts has a perfect quarterback rating, 158.3. Got the explosive games going in the pass game, which you know they would. I mean, that's the type of talent that they have.
Coach, now you're going into another hostile environment, and you look at some of the things you were able to accomplish in Denver on the road, noise factor, all of those things. That has to be kind of a constant now, right? Just handling all the communication in that environment.
Yeah, tough. And again, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. And look, you kind of know going through this, Jackson has done a really good job for us. But there's going to be some things that we continue to learn on, continue to grow from with a young guy. He's done a really good job with that. We're going to need it's going to be loud. It was very loud there. It got quiet, then it got loud again. And, he performed pretty well at the end of the game when it was really, really loud. But we got to clean up a couple of those things, both on coaching staff-wise and then player-wise. But there were a lot of good things, too, that came out of that game that you can learn from and build off of.
Coach, your team has shown tremendous resiliency, too, like in the fact that the way you kind of lost the game against New Orleans, but then the way they kind of came back to work. Is it starting to develop that DNA in your team when you look at them like, man, these guys are pretty tough?
Yeah, I think there's physical toughness. I think there's mental toughness. Again, the week's a lot better when you win the previous week. But there's some gritty guys that, again, the past game, there's a number of things, a handful of things that if one of those things goes the other way, you probably get the results you want. And I accept responsibility for that. Continue to work with the guys, but I like the guys we got.
Coach, as you look at Philadelphia, they were without Carter when you first played him. Now he's back in the mix. What difference does he make in terms of their overall ability to get things done?
Yeah, he's a significant factor. Yeah. He's a dominant defensive lineman that causes issues both in the run and the pass. He's really good. So we're going to have to do a good job with him. It's easier said than done, particularly on the interior part of it. But that'll be the challenge.
Coach, last week Minnesota was 1 for 6 in the red zone. Really, it was a close ball game, and they had opportunities. Since Jackson Dart has taken over as the quarterback for you guys, 9 of your 11 red zone touchdowns have come with him at the quarterback. Is that really one of the keys to this game and most games is getting touchdowns when you get there? Absolutely.
And they play very good red zone defense. We're going to have to do a good job schematically and, technique-wise, execution-wise down there, but that's big. You score and you can prevent them from scoring. That's a huge part of the game. And then to me, you add the explosives, which they had. Smitty had a career game, and AJ, and that was coming. I mean, Saquon, they have an explosive offense with explosive playmakers. And again, Jalen had a perfect quarterback rating, which is not surprising to me.
Coach, last question is just in terms of the style of play that this team has, this kind of mentality, the toughness now, kind of a hard-nosed group, no matter what type of schematic it is each week, they're going to do it with a certain brand of football?
Yeah, again, we want to be a physical team. Starts at the line of scrimmage, but the receivers blocking, the defensive backs tackling. We have to do a good job of executing, but within that, we have to be a physical team. That's what we try to do each week.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes, and we'll do it again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Head coach of the New York Giants, Brian Daboll. When we come back on the program, Carl and Coach go into the auditorium, break down above the X's and O's, all that and much more here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Time to go above the X's and O's as we take you over to the auditorium where Coach and Carl are standing by.
All right, Coach, let's just take a look at a play that stood out to me because it was a pressure situation. The crowd was really into it, and the call, the execution of this particular play really kept the crowd out of this game.
Yeah, we're up here 13. It's the end of the third, and we're in what we call fringe territory. Denver is being aggressive, as they were throughout the game, and they're blitz zeroing here, which means they're bringing all these players right here, and everybody else is man-to-man on the receivers, and the tight end, in this case, the safety, is going to go ahead and cover Belly as he comes back. And we run a split flow scheme. Same side ball handling where the tight end is going to come across and block the defensive end. In this case, the defensive end rushes straight up at the field at the quarterback and mesh charges him, which they don't know if it's a zone read or it's just a straight handoff. And we do a good job. Tracy drop steps, gets right down the midline on the hash. Jackson gives him space. We do a good job of covering up. This safety right here is responsible for the tight end. And he runs out with the tight end. And there's times where we flash the tight end, bring him out, which we did earlier in the game, which they covered. But he runs out of it, and our offensive line does a fantastic job. We're just running some routes here to go ahead and occupy the defensive backs that are playing man-to-man coverage. And you can see it from the back view. We do a really good job of getting a hat for a hat, which we call it, with the receiver going in here to block the safety that's down in the box. Again, we're blitzing all these players, and they're trying to create a negative play in this point in the game. It's a great job by the left side of the line, Runyon and AT, of high-arming and really sealing this. And it's a really good job by Tracy of coming downhill and staying tight off of this block, influencing the safety who has this guy man-to-man, and it's clear sailing.
Coach, when you talk about the high arms, 78 and 76, they literally just turn as if they were just sealing it off. And there's no 50-50 opportunities for the defender to get off the block at all.
Yeah, that's right. And again, I think it's really key that Jackson gets off the midline, that Tracy can read this front side of what's going on. And since they go ahead and high arm it and take these guys where they want to go, and the footwork and the detail right here of the running back to be straight down the line and then keep it tight instead of going too far this way and having to wind it back, really allows us to go ahead and hit our head on the goalpost.
And you kind of got the sense as he goes through the line of scrimmage, your linemen knew right away what it was going to be. It's like they knew they had all the players blocked up. And once he flashed through there, it seems like they knew right away this was going to
Yeah, again, tough environment, loud. They got some movements, some studs, but we do a good job. Again, these five guys up, and then Belly just gets enough here, even though he throws, just gets him to stop enough. And you can see, Jackson's got his hand up as the ball goes. The linemen are finishing the plays. Hyatt, really well executed play. There's a lot of little details that take place in this play to make it a successful play.
You had talked in the pregame about how Joseph likes to mix a lot of things up. You knew it was a blitz, but just making sure everybody had their block here had to be something that took a lot of preparation.
Yeah. Again, tough environment. A lot of guys up in the box. We did see a lot of looks. I'd say there was some pretty good execution for most of the day. And this one, I think, just illustrates that to put us up here to 19.
Thanks, Carl. When we come back, Dane Belton, who had a monster hit last week in Denver, he'll join Sean O'Hara one-on-one here on the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. They're going to go for it. 4th and goal at the 2.
Hicks calls out signals, takes the snap, receiver screen for Sutton, makes the catch, and he's plastered at the 2-yard line. What a hit! Dane Belton came flying in there from his safety spot.
That's what Belton will do.
Hey, no more. Keep talking that. That's how you do it. Hey, they go 11. We got it. Match it. Great play, man. Great job.
Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show. We're down on the field here now, one-on-one with Dane Belton. Dane, we just showed the highlight tackle, 4th and 2 against Denver. You making a huge stop to get off the field and keep them out of the end zone. Take us back to that play. What did you see pre-snap, and what did you see once the ball was snapped that enabled you to accelerate through that tackle?
Yeah, just knowing the people they want to get the ball to, the main weapons. They motioned over to my side, trying to get numbers to that side. And, obviously the main guy was 14, Sutton, and just knowing that they're trying to get him the ball in some capacity. So whether that's a corner out, post, sit down, and then so really just understanding that. And then once, the ball snaps, is a quick throw, blocks out, just kind of open the lane. And, for me, it was just being able to react fast and shoot the gap and make the tackle and stop the play. Well,
you definitely reacted fast. You came downhill quick. It was almost like you were in the huddle. What does it feel like to make a hit that big? Like, did he make a noise when you hit him? Like, you knew, like, oh, I just pounded you.
Yeah, it feels great. That's like when you start playing football, that's one of the reasons why you want to hit people, especially on defense. So, it goes back to that, being able to have a good form tackle, same foot, same shoulder, and, make a big play like that. It's just, you guys saw me celebrate. I didn't know what to do. I just let the emotions take over. So it was an awesome time.
You were on the field for 4th down, but you're used to being on the field for 4th down. You're on every single special teams that the Giants have. Take me through punt team. You are the personal protector. What does that mean, and what are your responsibilities?
Yeah, they always say it's basically the quarterback of the unit. Set the protection, you make sure everyone's on the same page, you count everyone, make sure the lineman's good, great protection, and then transition into the coverage unit, make sure everyone's spaced out. It's just like I said, you have to take control, have to have leadership, and make sure everyone's on the same page and make sure it's running right.
Let's just give the fans a little perspective. So I was a backup long snapper as well my whole career. So I knew that me and the PP, it's just like quarterback center, we got to have a good rhythm. If I was the long snapper, where do you line up as the PP? Right?
I'll be
right
about
here.
5 to 6 yards deep. Our punter offsets a little to the right, so when I line up on the left side, I can crowd his left foot. If I line up on the right, like sometimes we'll switch, I'll get a little wide because that snap is coming this way, so we can protect his foot. Being able to sit here, scan the defense, give the protection call for killing someone, we call just he's dead to everyone else, that's my guy. Or if we want to, I plug down A or different things to be able to change the protection and change the look to pick up the rush.
What are some of the challenges against Philadelphia? Obviously, Saquon is a big point of emphasis, but they're doing a good job in the passing game, right? Devontae Smith just coming off a big game. So what are some of the things that you're looking at?
Yeah, like we said, like coming off last year, they have a tremendous run game. This year hasn't been the same, but they still have those weapons. They still have the offensive line that's really good. So being able to take that out first can make them one-dimensional and help us out. So doing that first, stopping the run, and then like you said, they have great weapons outside. The passing game is heating up. So being able to show different pictures and play top down, defend deep, and make plays.
Coming downhill, same foot, same shoulder. It sounds like a good plan to beat the Birds. Dane, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it. Always great to see you.
Yes, sir.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on the Coach Daboll Show.
Welcome back to the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford. Giants and Eagles on Sunday in Philadelphia. What's the vibe with the Big Blue? For more on that, here's Bruce Beck.
Thanks, Bob. Bobby Okereke leads the Giants this year with 60 tackles. He's 10th in the NFL in that category. But I'm coming to you today talking about being a defensive captain. And how does this team respond coming off a loss such as you had last week?
Yeah, you got to respond with mindset and perspective. Painful loss, emotional game, but you got to go and learn the lessons and understand why you got the results you got and why you got put in the situation you got put in. So we're excited to grow and mature from this one and excited for a great opportunity on the road versus a division opponent.
Derek Jeter used to always say you need to flush it. You need to move on. It's one game at a time. You believe in that then?
100%. Yeah, you give yourself your 24 hours to process it, obviously go through and make all the corrections from an emotionless point of view, and then you flush it. A great opportunity for a great opponent that's going to be hungry for the opportunity to play us, so we're excited.
I think they're extra hungry because you guys beat them in your own house. How do you go down to Philly and sweep the season series?
You got to understand the matchup. That is a great team with great coaches, and they play with great situational awareness, and they play with physicality. So you got to have a great understanding of that, match that, and just beat them in critical situations.
Do you expect to see a hungry Saquon carrying the pigskin?
100%. We all know what it is. We're going to be hungry to play him. He's going to be hungry to play us. He's an ultimate competitor, and these are the type of games you want.
Finally, your role as a leader, it seems as though you embrace that role. Why?
100%. I try to embody servant leadership. So help my teammates as much as I can, pour into my guys as much as I can, and lead by example. Be a guy who's got great detail, takes great notes, and plays a great effort.
He's been leading in the NFL for 7 years, and he's continuing to do so, Bob. Bobby, thanks for spending some time with us.
Appreciate it, Bruce. Thank you.
Now it's time for this week's edition of Strategy with Carl Banks, presented by Microsoft Copilot. And Carl, Giants saw the Eagles just a couple of weeks ago, so there's not a lot of secrets here. What are some of the keys that Philadelphia has been able to be very productive with offensively?
Well, Bob, they have a really good core of skill position players, and not to mention the quarterback. What the Giants will see this week is a little more explosiveness from this offense. It seems like they've gotten that part of their game back, and the stress that they can put on defensive backs, just along with these three guys, the route concepts will take and occupy safeties and corners, and it's just like by design, they'll get some guys open. Just watch what happens here. If I freeze it, you've got one guy threatening in the middle of the field. You got a guy here who's going to put stress on the safety here because he's going to come across the field, and you got a guy running out. So what you see, just a route concept where once you stretch the middle of the field, this area is going to be open, this area is going to be open, and then you've got a foot race there. And it's just whatever the quarterback wants to throw the football, he gets him in a foot race, but it's no help. They design plays to take the help away from corners if they're in man-to-man.
Yeah, and they really preyed upon the Giants in their last meeting with Dallas Goedert, as he had over 100 yards receiving. All right, what else are we going to look at?
So we know Jalen Hurts, he can throw the ball, he's got a great arm, but he can also maneuver in the pocket while keeping his eyes down the field. Here, there's really nothing breaking down other than his running back going to help, but the first look isn't there, right? They've got this guy bracketed. So what they do, he moves, the receiver moves right there down the bottom of the screen. So all eyes on the quarterback by their receivers, knowing that if they have what they call just spot location routes, where he just sits. He's told to sit here in between the linebackers. But as his eyes are on the quarterback here, as the quarterback moves, watch him move. This guy comes out of coverage, this guy finds the opening, and he and the quarterback are on the same page.
Right, and there's a trust factor, too. He knows that Devontae Smith could be looking at that guy coming off the sideline that just whacked him, but he knows and trusts him that he's going to finish it.
Yeah, and now if you look at the defensive side of the ball, they've got an all-pro linebacker here, Zach Bond, and people always use the word linebacker phrase called trigger, right? Trigger means when that ball is snapped, he reads it fast and he's making a tackle for a loss. Now, here's what's important about that, and here's why he's able to do what he does. This guy right here, their defensive tackle, he occupies two. So there's a double, and he just goes right here. Because if this guy comes off, he'll split the double and make the tackle himself. So you got to secure your blocks, and you got to make sure you don't give a clear run lane to Zach Bond.
All right, you got one more for us?
Yeah, you have Zach Bond and Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell left the Giants game early last game. He's their best man cover guy, but just watch how he stays in the hip pocket. But did you see how Bond was right in the throwing lane, which makes the quarterback hold the ball? Tight coverage here, but this guy is intersecting, and that's going to be an interception if the quarterback doesn't pull the ball down. He holds it. Mitchell stays with him. Pass breakup.
So, Carl, you look at this game. The Giants had a lot of fun when they played the Eagles on Thursday Night Football at MetLife Stadium. Haven't swept the Eagles since 2007. They ain't sneaking up on Philadelphia this time.
Well, no, and Philadelphia is not sleepwalking. It's a prideful team. They still got championship medal, and they want to get their lick back. So this is going to be probably their most physical test to date, and they've played a lot of physical games, this Giant team, but this is going to be a game that Philly's going to seek revenge. Giants have to keep their composure, stay focused, and play their brand of football.
Saquon's only averaging like 3 yards a carry. I think he had 44 yards last week. They haven't been able to get their run game going. Not allowing them to get it going this week is imperative, isn't it?
Well, you don't want them to be a two-dimensional team. As a one-dimensional team, they got 3 receivers that will just carve you up. Both dimensions, if Saquon Barkley's going and you allow the receivers to do what they do, it's a long day.
This week's game between the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles is brought to you by Konica Minolta, the official multifunction printer of the New York Giants. That wraps it up for this week's show. So for Carl Banks, Coach Daboll, Sean O'Hara, Bruce Beck, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Coach Daboll Show, presented by Ford.